is the question, right? This is the question that I have for Wesley Muhammad, right? This is the question that I have for you, because we have thoughts independent of Paul Gerthy, right? And I have questions for Paul Gerthy after y'all debate, right? Because I'm not a follower of no man. I'm not in pursuit of a mystery God, nor am I in the pursuit of the cult of a personality. I am a free thinker, Wesley Muhammad, and I can think independently of Paul Guthrie's attempts to do whatever he is that he's doing, but I appreciate the questions that he's bringing forth, because it shows that I was not the only one asking questions. And if you check with Temple number 24 in Richmond, you know, and those who know me, I have always asked these questions because I never took too many things on face value. So let's get it in. This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. This is part 2 of the video entitled approximately 60 years ago. Our people did not know we were here. And as of 1934, right, when Farad finished teaching Elijah Muhammad the first term examinations, asked him the questions, and Elijah answered them. So he say, when did our people find out that we were here? Approximately 60 years ago. Okay? Approximately 60 years ago. So I wanted you and some of you guys to know that I was in the Nation of Islam, brother. This is my book of life, right? It's quite thick. You feel me? It's very, very quite thick. This is Supreme Wisdom, right? Lessons. I have all of these lessons here, brother. I got the Supreme Math, right? I got the Supreme Alphabets. I got actual facts. I got student enrollment, right? I got student enrollment. You know, what is the birth record said other than Islam? And they say Buddhism, right? Here it is, right? Buddhism, 35,000 years old. Incorrect, right? So let's get to this English lesson C1, right? Let's get to this English lesson C1, then we're going to get to this teaching, right? Right here, it says, why didn't their own people come and get them? Because their own people did not know they were here. When did their own people find out they were here? Approximately what? 60 years ago. Approximately 60 years ago. So let's get it in, right? Let's get it in, right? We have here W.D. Farad Muhammad, right? W.D. Farad Muhammad, 1934. Subtract 60 years, that's 1874. We're going to have a problem with that, Wesley. Anybody in the Nation of Islam going to have a problem proving that nobody on the continent of Africa knew that we were here before 1874, right? If you remember on my breakdown of the codes of the Quran, this is a zodiac age. There are 12 ages that last 2,160 years. If we subtract Farad's birthday, February the 26th, we get 1934. That's where we subtracted the 60 years that we got 1874. So Farad was born, right, 57 years before 1934, which was 1877. February 26th is the 57th day of the year, right? 2 plus 57 is 114, right? So let's get it in. Wallace Farad Muhammad, right? That's the initials he gave when he left, according to Elijah. But when he came, he had WD, right? That's the 23rd alphabet and the 4th alphabet, 234. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th prime number, okay? So when we also take the zodiac age, right? When we take that zodiac age, sir, listen, Wesley, 2,160 years, we subtract 1874 from that, we get 286, right? Ironically, when we take the same 60 years, sir, we take the same 60 years because this, Farad is talking about something else. He's talking about a mathematical code here, because nowhere in the world that if Farad traveled the world, right, before he made himself known, and if he went through Africa, he would have known that our people knew that we were here, right? So when I subtract 286, or when I take 286 and subtract 60 years from that, I get 226 again, February the 26th, right? February the 26th, right? And so this is the problem that I'm having with you guys. And you know, Paul Guthrie is not asking this question in this way. He's not dealing with this math right here. So stop acting like Paul is behind our intelligence. Stop acting like Paul came and liberated us and got us to thinking. Sir, you got to remember, Elijah got us thinking first, Wesley. So Elijah told us not to take anything on face value, right? And that's particularly what we're doing. But you want us to take things on face value. Elijah also said the only dumb question is the question that you don't ask. So I want you to explain to me that when I subtract 226 from 2,160 years, why I get 1934. When I subtract that 60 years from 1934, I get 1874. And the mores that are backing you up, how the fuck y'all niggas going to talk about a peace and friendship treaty, right, that was signed well before this date, well before this date, right? Well before this date, the Friendship and Peace Treaty was done, right? The movement to put blacks in Liberia happened before this date, right? So I could bring up many different instances where it could prove, right? Let's look at the treaty between Algiers, the treaty between Tripoli, the treaty between Morocco, all of the pirate states that the United States called them, because there's a book called Power, Faith, and Fantasy that documents American history with the Middle East since 1776. It's 600-page books, Wesley. I think you should check it out. The author is Michael O'Brien, right? It's Michael O'Brien, and we're talking about the approximately 60 years ago statement, right? 60 years before 1934 is 1874. If maybe the people in India didn't know we was here until 1874, Paul or Wesley. Maybe the Indian people didn't know, but the people, our people, the Africans knew we were here. A great deal of them knew we were here. Now, that's not an absolute that every African knew,